For our fall camping trip in 2018, we had planned to do a road trip. Patrick just got a new Jeep, and we wanted to take it from New Jersey down to West Virginia, and then continue from West Virginia down the Blue Ridge Parkway to North Carolina and the Cherokee National Forest. So we started to do our usual prep for the trip. We got the Jeep ready. We figured out how to set up the seats in the back so that we could actually sleep in the Jeep if we wanted to, or we could use our tent. But as the trip got closer, we started to figure out that Mother Nature had different plans. It looks kind of funny, but I think it's going to work well.
And then we'll put this over here.
This is our makeshift tent.
So we don't make it different.
I think it's going to be great though, because we're going to have full ventilation. Like if it's still kind of warm, we can leave the back open and sleep in there, and then the fan is right up at the front there, so we'll get really good air circulation, and all the windows can go down because that part's covered. So
and the sunroof is open.
We just need to get some clips to hold the edges together so that the bugs can't get underneath, but I think it's going to work really well.
Even that way, I think it would still get close to working.
Yeah, it's going to be the fastest tent setup ever. Today is Sunday, and we have been planning this trip for a few months, that we were going to go hiking and camping in West Virginia and North Carolina, and our planned date to leave was this Thursday. So what's going on right now is there's a hurricane that we've been kind of keeping an eye on for a little while, and as of this morning the hurricane has increased its intensity. It just actually switched over from a tropical storm to a hurricane. So Hurricane Florence is right now headed directly for the coast of North Carolina, and they're particularly concerned about the effects that it's going to have inland. So when you look at the trajectory as of today, it's going directly for the area that we have been planning on going camping. On top of that, I don't know if you can hear, it's raining right now in New Jersey, and from now until early next week, there's a flood warning in West Virginia anyway. So, it's really not looking good for our trip. And Pat and I have been talking about this for the last couple days, and we think that we just have to kind of scrap our plan and go with something completely different. So plan A is definitely not going to work. Plan B was that we would kind of take our road trip and shift it and go north, go up to like Vermont or New Hampshire or upstate New York. The problem is that we really don't like camping when it's cold, and it's like maybe 60s during the day and 40s to 30s at night, which we're not really crazy about. So after a little bit of research, we came up with Plan C, which was one of the easier places that we figured out we could fly to was Denver. And even though we have not been preparing for a trip to Colorado at all, we're hoping that within the next 3 days, if we decide this is the plan that we want to go with, that we'll be able to pack all of our camping gear and figure out how we can get on a plane and head to Colorado to hopefully save what's going to be our trip this year. So what we do know so far is we have somebody to watch Redford. Redford is already scheduled to get boarded, and we have our days off of work, but as of right now, as of Sunday, we have no idea what our actual trip is going to look like by Thursday. My job is supposed to be to figure this out tonight, so right now I'm going to go to the gym, do a little workout, because no matter what, I need to make sure that I'm in shape for this trip. And then hopefully during that workout I can kind of mull things over and think about what we're actually going to do, because we're sort of running out of time in terms of booking things. But I'll give you a little look at what we're dealing with the hurricane. So there it is, Florence, and here is what they're looking at in terms of where it's going to hit, and it's pretty much right here was where we were planning on being. Whoop. So yeah, not looking good. On Monday afternoon, I made the final decision to book a flight to Denver. So we are on our way to Colorado. We're leaving, our flight's out at 9:30. As of right now, we don't have a hotel room for tonight, so we have to figure that out. And we don't have any of the actual trip booked right now because it's so last minute. Our main focus for the whole week was just get everything packed. So it was the fastest pack we've ever done, and I really hope that we didn't forget anything.
We probably did.
We probably did. I feel like we did. I usually start packing weeks ahead of time. I packed in one night. I packed on Tuesday. So. While we were sitting in the airport waiting to board our flight, we used our phones to book a hotel room so we would at least have a place to stay when we landed in Denver. And we were watching the weather in the airport, and I think we definitely made the right decision. Things in North Carolina were looking pretty bad as the hurricane made landfall, and the weather in Denver was actually unseasonably warm. Got a, what is it? A Nissan Sentra?
Rogue, I think.
A Rogue. Oh, it's very nice. We'll document how clean it is right now because, oh, it's an Altima. Oh, I can't really see it. Alright, well, it's very clean right now. It's not going to last long.
Nope.
We made it to our very classy, what is this, Super 8 motel? What is that?
That thing.
I like the picture behind the bed. The room kind of smells interesting.
It smells like a prostitute.
Says the police officer.
Oh, I know the smell.
Well, that sounds terrible.
Okay.
Alright. It'll do. We're only here for a few hours.
Yeah.
We settled into the hotel room and then spent some time on the iPad doing some research about what we were actually going to do in Colorado. We had made it there, but we had absolutely no plan at this point as to where we were going to go or what we were going to do or where we were even staying each night. Today is the planning and provisioning day. So first of all, since we have no plan, we still don't really have a plan. So we're going to do what we know how to do, which is provision. So first we're going to the grocery store. We're going to figure out kind of what we think we're going to need for the next few days at least. And then we're going to go hit REI to get a bear canister and a couple other things, some bear spray for the camping stuff that we weren't able to fly with. And then heading to our campsite tonight. So tonight's the only night we actually have something booked. So, alright, let's go get prepared. We made the first of many stops at Starbucks to use their Wi-Fi for some planning and to get coffee. And then we decided to head over to the food store so that we could start to get all of the stuff that we needed. And even though we didn't have a solid plan of where we were going or what we were going to do, I still kind of went through my whole process of checking off breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks for a few days, making sure that we had instant coffee, tea, ramen noodles, kind of all the staples that we usually end up needing when we're on a camping trip. And then we headed over to REI to get the camping fuel. And really, I just wanted to check out the REI in Denver. We were surprised that they had an electric vehicle plug, which was really neat to see. But this REI is enormous. I've never seen anything like it. It has its own climbing wall. There were 3 different floors. They had everything you could ever possibly need for a camping trip. Our next stop, once we had everything we needed, was the Rocky Mountain Arsinal National Wildlife Refuge. We were pretty close, so we figured it was worth a stop to check it out and see what this was all about. And it actually has a pretty interesting history of what happened on the land and how they use it as a wildlife refuge at this point in time.